Hey everybody, and welcome to another update video on Hyperspace Dogfights. It's been a while since I covered this game back when the X-Ray update came out, which was about 4 months ago, I believe. We're now on Alpha 0.85 with the Radio Waves update, and there is quite a bit to talk about, so let's get started. First of all, we have basically everything. We've got new enemies to shoot with our familiar weaponry and familiar enemies to shoot with new guns. Those new enemies come in a variety of forms and sizes, and have also been given some new toys to play with, such as, but not limited to, mine launchers and jammers. More on that later. But we also get new enemy types like, for instance, boats. And you can't have boats without water now, can you? So indeed, the new update also brings us areas to play in, such as urban and ocean, or aquatic if you want, areas. Each with their unique set of enemies mixed in with the ones we've come to know and love. As for goodies for the player ship, a good amount of new weapons are available to us to toy with yet again, ranging from ranged, with basically going from a death ray to a flamethrower, and melee weapons that go from size that can strike so quickly you're basically immune to weapons fire, immune not to weapons not guaranteed by manufacturer, to a bloody warhammer that can hit enemies so hard that if it doesn't kill them, they'll still regret it for quite some time. Do have to admit it's a bit unwieldy, but hey, it's a hammer, what do you expect? And of course, saving the best for last, we also get a few new effects to toy with, namely the EMP. I personally only had the joy to use it once on a cannon weapon, and it was pretty fun to use. Shoot an aircraft maybe once or twice and watch it fall helplessly to its doom. We also get something called Pull, which is on melee weapons that draws enemies in, and something called Photon, which allows you to pierce shields. I haven't seen many shielded enemies, so I'm not entirely sure what that's all about, but it's in the game, so yay. Of course, this is only the new weapons. There's also a swath of new active and passive items to go along with them, affecting your ship or its weapons alike. So, new actives like mine cluster, flak thing, an emergency teleporter that when you get hit, teleports you, then recharge your shields in the meantime. Then there's this thing. But also new passives with a surprisingly large amount of them coming with a downside, such as the ones you're currently seeing. But hey, who needs to see their health anyway, right? And who cares about health or shields if you don't get hit anyway? But of course we also have some new passives that affect your weaponry. Need a 360-degree halberd? We got you covered. Want a floaty grenade launcher? Say no more. Or maybe you want to turn that particular thing into a shotgun. Have at it. Anyway, I think that covers most of the new items, levels, and enemies, which leaves us with one big new feature to talk about. New objectives. Yep. The new update adds on to the two we're familiar with, namely destroying a bunch of things and boss levels. So beyond the usual, we're now also agreed with the following possible objectives, or at least these are the ones that I've managed to come across. There's survival, plain and simple, don't get killed for a designated amount of time. There's the seek and destroy, which is a non-official name, I just had to say something, I guess. In short, kill specific things. In not so short, you're tasked to kill an amount of specific enemies, which can be as basic as some elite fighters, or officers, which is also not an official name. Maybe it is, I don't know. But can also be stuff like ground defenses, or ambushing a convoy, or my favorite one, but also the one that gets me killed more often than I succeed at it, destroy like jammer or scanner ships. Which brings us to one of the new effects that is used against you, namely getting jammed, and this one is quite a doozy. As far as I comprehend it, it basically grinds your ship to a halt, making you an easy target, and as you can also see, it severely impairs your vision as well, making, dodging all the more difficult if you can't really properly see. Though I do believe that there is a setting to reduce the gravity of that effect. I'm not entirely sure on that. And then we have my personal favorite of the new objectives, Recon, in which you're basically tasked to take pictures by hanging around in specific areas for a time. And needless to say that the bad guys don't make it that easy, and you will be fleeing to take down a few enemies and then coming back for it. But yeah, I really do like this one. On to a few more minor things. The bosses are now randomized. And by that I mean you still get them on specific levels, but you won't always fight the same one. So it may seem like a minor thing, but for people who have roughly the same skill as I do in this game, it does allow them to actually get a chance to see what used to be, I guess, the late game bosses. Beating them is an entirely different thing altogether, though. Furthermore, there's like a ton of other stuff, like small additions, balances, bug fixes. For instance, you can now see that your active item is like the log actually called it wiggle, which was kind of funny. But yeah, it now moves to show you that it is ready for use, which is a nice little thing, I guess. But I'm not going to go too deep into these because it would probably take too long, and it's probably not all that interesting. So for those that are interested, however, the links below will get you pretty much all you need. There'll be a link where you can buy the game, where you can probably also find the change dog, and a link to the Sleeper Games Discord if you want to stay more on top of things, or maybe if you have the game, help us out by finding bug fixes or like finding bugs, or just discuss the game in general. What do you like to see and stuff like that. But for now, thank you guys for watching. Feel free to show support by commenting, liking, or something if you haven't already. This has been Hyperspace Dogfights Radio Waves update. Bye everyone.